All right, number 12, they want us to find the volume of a pyramid. Our formula for volume of a pyramid is 1/3 big B. If you read in this particular case, they actually gave me the volume of that, or they gave me the big B, and then my height is the 6,000. So plugging that in, I end up with 29,500,000. Okay, the next one, I'm looking for the volume of the composite figure. I see half of a cylinder on the top, and I see a prism on the bottom. So we've got 1/2 pi r squared h plus big B times h. I'm going to start with that prism. Big B is the area of the base. The base right there is that rectangle that's 9 by 10, so its area is 90, and the overall height is 11. Over here, my radius is actually from here to here, which is half of that 10, which is the 5 squared, and the height is actually here. The height is the distance from one base, which is the half of the cylinder, to the other, so that height is 9. I plugged that into my calculator. I got 353.4. Adding together, I got the following. Okay, number 14, it wants to know how much is used to make the label. That is a cylinder. If we're just talking the label, all they want is the lateral area. So that is 2 pi RH. If our diameter is 6.6, our radius is 3.3, and the height of that can is 10.1. Again, plugging that in, 209.4 centimeters squared. 15, I'm looking for the surface area of the cylinder. If you look at your formula, it says pi r squared. Let's try again. 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi RH. So it says the diameter is 2.7. So that means my radius would be 1.35. 1.35, and the height. So here's the one part I'm going to have to look at. This is 2.7, so is this, and so is this. So that whole height would be 3 times the 2.7. So my height is 8.1. So we can substitute that in here. I'm going to pick up my calculator, go ahead and plug everything in. Okay, I got an answer of 80.2, and that would be inches squared. Number 16, I'm looking for the volume and the surface area. Your volume is 4/3 pi r cubed, and in this particular case, they went ahead and gave me that radius. So I'm going to grab my calculator there. And it does say leave it in terms of pi. I got 7,776. That would be centimeters cubed. My surface area formula is 4 pi r squared. In this particular case, again, that radius is 18, and they want us to leave it in terms of pi. We end up with 1296 centimeters squared. Okay, moving on to number 17, they want us to find the volume of a composite figure. So in the bottom again, I see a prism. Actually, I see two prisms. I see a rectangular prism, and I see a triangular prism. Okay, so again, we're looking for volume. So volume of the rectangular prism is, again, big B times H, and actually so is this one. It just happens that their bases are different. So the first thing I'm looking for is the area of that base down there. So that would be 6 times 12, which is 72, and its height is 8. Okay, the next one, this is the tricky one, is my base is that triangle, so I need to find the area of that. That would be 1/2 times the 12 times the height of this guy right here. So here to here is 8. The whole thing is 13, which means that little piece is 5. So that guy right there is just the area of the base. And now I have to go find the height of that prism. Well, the height of the prism, if the base is a triangle, its height or distance from this triangle to the other one would be 6. Let's go ahead and plug those into our calculator. So we've got 72 times 8 is 576, and then over there we get 180, and finally adding them together, 756 inches cubed. Okay, 18. Which solid has a greater volume, a sphere or a cone? So let's go find the volume of the sphere. That would be 4/3 pi r cubed, versus a cone would be 1/3 pi r squared times the height. Again, let's go grab our calculator. So 4/3 times 8 to the third, 682.6. Repeating, and that has a pi next to it. Over here, 1/3 times 8 squared times the 30 versus 640. So the one that has the volume that's larger is there. Okay, moving on, number 19, we're looking for a net for the pentagonal pyramid. So that means I have a pentagon at its base. And remember, when it's a pyramid, that simply means each one of those lateral faces are triangles. Okay, the triangular prism, I can see my base is that triangle. So I think I'm actually going to draw that triangle there. There's a lateral face. There would be that other triangular base, and then the other two lateral faces. And obviously on Math Excel, it'll be a little bit easier to figure those out, but just do your best even if you had to sketch it. Okay, the cylinder, if you can envision, this kind of goes along with the soup label. The part all the way around there is actually a rectangle, and then you just have a circle up at the top, circle at the bottom. Last two describe each cross-sectional piece. So in other words, you have a cube that's been sliced, and here is that sectional piece. In this particular case, that would be a rectangle. And then over here on the sphere, if they cut it there, you can see they're referring to that right there. That cross-sectional piece would be a circle.